you're in another Simple Favor. My
Yes.
question, what was it like just saying, "Oh, we're going to go stay in Capri for a couple of months and see how it goes?"
Well, it's just a job you don't say no to. And when you've got Paul Feig, our director, who I've worked with and known for so many years, I just adore him and his wife Lori. They're some of the best people. And I just got this random email from him saying, "How would you feel about coming to Rome and Capri for 5 weeks?" And that was it. And I was like, "What? Is there a job involved?" And he said, "Yeah, it's a small role, but like we need you here for almost 6 weeks." And I was like, "Well, okay, I will do this for free if you want me to, Mr. Feig." Um, and I had known the first, because it's a sequel to A Simple Favor, and it stars Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick and Henry Golding. And I remembered the film because it was about 7 years old. And I thought, well, I wonder what the role is. And originally in the first movie, my role was played by Jean Smart. And so I said to Paul, I said, "Ooh, is that going to be, do you want me to like imitate her?" He said, "No, no, no, no. I want you to completely make this your own." And I said, "Well, why isn't Jean coming back?" And he's like, "Are you watching Hacks?"
Right.
And I was like, "Oh my God, yes." I mean, the queen, she's so good on it. And it's so great to see a woman my age
Yes.
just killing it.
Mhm.
So I sort of had the honor of replacing Jean Smart, which I feel really good about too. And I gained about 10 pounds living in Rome for 6 weeks and Capri. There was so much food.
Oh my gosh.
And Allison Janney and I did a lot of shopping. Well, Allison did a lot of shopping. I watched.
Sounds like you and I, Colleen. You watch me shop when
Yeah,
we
she
go. Yeah.
tends to buy a lot.
Well, Allison's, never married, never had children, and I've raised 4 children, and she's just got a whole, like, her wardrobe is insane, and like this is from Target. So
Nothing
I'm
wrong with
just
that.
I did buy myself a Prada wallet, so that was
Mhm.
my purchase in Rome. But she's like, "Hey, you want to go to Hermes today?" And I thought, I am really living the life here in Rome. So I had a ball. I had an absolute ball. It was a great cast. It was a great time. And I think the movie is really fun. I mean, I've been an actress for 40 years. I've been a mom for close to 40 years. And I just wanted like this third act to be something brand new. And I had never given myself the time to do this is my art studio where I'm sitting at the moment, and I've always been a mixed media collage artist, but no one's ever like seen my work. It's just been something that I do. I don't know, like as a second moment of creativity in my life when I'm not acting. And I just had my first show,
How did
That
that
is so
which was
go?
really
cool.
like I was petrified. I was born in 1960, so the 70s were really pivotal for me. And, it was all, Our Bodies, Ourselves, Betty Friedan, Gloria Steinem. And we were sort of the first generation that was given the ability to go out and work. We had birth control. We were sort of in control of ourselves in a brand new way. Um, but nobody really told us how to do that.
Right.
Our mothers didn't have that, so they didn't know how to say this is what it looks like. And I think we're a unique generation that way.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we've spoken to many women who hit that 60 mark, and there's some kind of secret sauce that
Mhm.
hits, and all of a sudden you're fulfilling maybe dreams, like I said before, that you had set aside, or you're putting yourself as a priority. And it's a privilege that you've earned from all those years of putting yourself down the list. Did you find that?
Absolutely. I was always, and I used to refer to it as a totem pole. I was always like sixth on the totem pole. You know, it was like the four kids, my husband, oh, wait, my mom, my dad, especially when both my parents got sick or sickly. Both my parents had strokes and it was debilitating. And, you know, there was a good 3 or 4 years of caretaking for them. And when they passed, that was like, whoosh, wow. Kids are gone, parents have passed. Wow, what do I do now? I really can do anything I want. And I realized that I had been holding a lot of resentment about all of the caretaking and just kind of bailed.
Yeah.
But I mean, bailed in a really good way of just sort of, you know, releasing that identity of being, you know, number 10th on the totem pole.
Can we talk about your menopause experience? Because it's such a unique kind of perfect storm at age 45.
It was the weirdest. It was really hard. I had been diagnosed with pretty severe endometriosis, which is very, very painful disease that doesn't get a lot of attention. And I'd had surgery for it once and came back right away. And so it got to the point where the endometrial tissue was so bad that it had attached my left ovary to the side of my body and was basically like tearing my fallopian tube.
Oh gosh.
And I was 45 and I made the decision after years of pain to have a hysterectomy. But I hadn't been feeling well for a very long time. And they said, well, you know, you take out your ovaries and your uterus and your fallopian tubes and you feel better. And I was like, no, it's worse than that. And, you know, they wanted to put you on in, you know, SSRIs. Well, maybe you need to go for more walks. Maybe you need to exercise more. You know, maybe you need to lose weight. You know, what's your diet like? Maybe you should cut out carbs. You know, and you're going like, no, I have blurry vision and I feel like I can't stand up. I haven't slept in 4 days. And, you know, and they're like, well, maybe, you know, are you in therapy? And you get so frustrated that you're, that nobody's hearing you. So I went in for my blood work for my hysterectomy, and my OBGYN came in the room and he said, I'm putting you in an ambulance and sending you to the hospital. And this was after like a 3.5 year journey of saying, I'm really sick. I'm really sick. And I knew it wasn't just endometriosis. And my blood glucose was 640. And I was immediately diagnosed as a type 1 diabetic, which makes so much sense to me now. And it's an autoimmune, it's late onset autoimmune diabetes and adult onset. And then 2 weeks later, I went in and had a full hysterectomy. So it was the first season of the show Weeds.
I was going to say, was that right around
Oh my
Weeds?
goodness. Oh my gosh.
And I was just sort of, you know, my daughter was 14 years old. You know, the kids were all like preteen and teen, and it was just very overwhelming. Really,
can't even
really,
imagine.
really
No,
yeah.
I mean, you're gaslighted enough
Completely.
for endometriosis, and
Exactly.
enough as a woman. I'm like, why didn't they do blood work?
And it's a simple blood test.
Yeah.
And I had been going to my general practitioner for about 3.5 years. And he had taken blood work. And And so when I confronted him about it, he said, well, you only really presented with abnormally high blood sugars like twice. And I said, this was really before you could check your own medical records on the internet. This was like, you peek in your file while you're like, why am I peeking? This is me. Like, why do I feel like the doctor knows best? Oh God. And I said, well, what do you mean I had abnormally high blood sugars? He goes, well, you presented once at 200, but I just thought maybe, you'd eaten a hot fudge sundae or something before you came in. And you just want to, it's like, I almost died.
Yeah.
Because you weren't listening to me, you weren't hearing me, you weren't seeing me. And I know that a lot of women, particularly through menopause, but particularly for anything having to do with being a woman, there's not enough research, there's not enough acknowledgement, there's not enough understanding of hormonal changes. There's no consideration. As a matter of fact, it's the butt of so many jokes of like, well, she's hysterical. How's the time of the month? Must be PMS. There's that people don't take women's issues or pain or suffering seriously.